Welcome to HealthWatch, presented by Novant Health. I'm your host, June Baker. Our show features local physicians and health professionals discussing health topics of importance to local residents. Today, we'll meet Desiree Dunstan, who has joined Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center as Director of Professional and Support Services. Then we'll meet physician assistants Brian Monroe and Bradley Alsop. Brian is with Novant Health, Oceanside Family Medicine, and Convenient Care in Charlotte, while Bradley has joined Novant Health, Oceanside Family Medicine in Leland. And finally, Dr. Richard Thompson and Becky Whiteside will join us to share information about Novant Health OBGYN's new Southport office. Stay tuned to learn about valuable health topics with HealthWatch. Our first guest today is Desiree Dunstan of Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center. Welcome to the show today, Desiree.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here.
It's very, very nice to have you. And I understand that you recently joined Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center as Director of Professional and Support Services.
Yes.
That's a big title.
Yes, it is.
And I think it's a big job for you, too. Let's start by hearing about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your education.
I received my bachelor's in business administration and marketing from Cheney University, Pennsylvania, which is about 20 miles outside of Philadelphia. And then I got my master's degree from Pfeiffer University. And that was, they had some satellite campuses out in the Raleigh-Durham area, and that's where I was stationed then.
Great. So let's move on to your work experience. Tell me what you've done and what led you to move to Brunswick County.
I would say for the past 25 years, I spent most of my career in post-acute services.
Really?
And when I say post-acute, it's more of what happens to the patient once they're discharged. You know, going to a lower level of care, home care, hospice, DME, or nursing skilled facilities. And then after that, I just wanted to do something different. Now that I had the post-acute background, I really wanted to get into the acute environment so I could learn the inpatient side of things. And so I started with Novant Health back in January of 2015. So I've been with them a little over a year. And I was doing a similar job and also was managing the Triangle practices, which are owned by Novant Health. There's 4 in the Triangle currently.
And those are physician practices?
Yes.
Great. So how did you like Raleigh? And let's talk a little bit about the Raleigh area. I'm surprised that you would want to move to Brunswick County from the Raleigh area.
Well, the Raleigh area, of course, you know, it's very competitive there. And there's lots of hospitals and physician practices there. But once I became a part of Novant, the environment here was just so welcoming. Everybody loves their jobs. And, you know, Mr. Amato has a mission that everybody is behind and really tries to do their best to push it forward and cascade it down to team members. And I just started hearing so many good things about Novant Health, and I really wanted to make sure that I was able to stay within.
Part of that.
Yes. So when the opportunity came for me to actually be in the same role that I was in, I just jumped to it, and my husband was willing to come down, and here we are.
So you both love the area?
Yes.
It's a great place to live. It's just a great way of life. Would you agree?
Absolutely, and the people are just so welcoming here.
I think the people in Brunswick County are very welcoming. I think there's a lot of locals around, and I love the locals, but I've never felt like an outsider. They've never made me feel that way, so I just love it here.
Yeah, so do I.
Well, we sure are happy to have you. We're just really glad that you're here. So let's talk about your role at the hospital. Now, I know you have a very long title, and so let's talk about what that means.
Currently, I manage most of the departments in the hospital except nursing and physician services. So that includes environmental safety, plant engineering, public safety, food and nutrition services, respiratory therapy, radiology, and laboratory services, and the physical rehabilitation departments.
How did you remember all that?
Well, again, that was a similar role that I was in when I first started.
see.
So it's the same departments, and actually in supply chain. I did just inherit supply chain.
Oh,
So, yes.
okay. One more. So in your role, what role do you play within those departments?
I actually support all of those departments. They have a dotted line to me. We have service line leaders within Novant Health System that are their direct reports, but I'm like the manager at the hospital on site for them to come to, and if we need to talk about any improvements or opportunities to make changes, I'm here to help them.
Okay. And when did you start at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center?
March 14th.
March 14th. Okay, good. So let's talk a little bit more in depth about the departments that you're going to be overseeing. So do you have specific goals in mind for these departments or yourself? Let's talk a little bit about that.
My goal for the first 30 days was really for me to become familiar with the department functions and to build relationships with my managers and team members. So I meet with my managers once a week, and we talk about things that are going on, and we talk about team members, and I actually attend their staff meetings regardless of what time of the day it is. And most of the time you have to do them either early in the morning or in the evening. So that was my plan, is just to really wrap my arms around the departments that I manage and build those relationships.
Well, and then that gives you the opportunity to learn all of the people who report to that manager. Is that correct? That they're all in that staff meeting?
Yes.
So it really gives you a good idea of what's going on within the facility in terms of your work, your working folks and stuff. How about for yourself? You said that your specific goals, do you have something in mind where you want to lead the departments or?
Well, I guess, you know, the biggest goal is to make sure that we provide the best remarkable experience for our patients every day. So that's my goal in making sure that we are doing that. And if there's any barriers, if I can assist with barriers, then that's what I'm there for. And so far, you know, everyone has been wonderful. The managers are great, the staff are really great. And from what I understand, we do our roundings every day now, and I go and talk with patients, and we are providing remarkable service. The patients love the clinicians, and I mean, even down to EVS. And so
let's talk a little bit about that rounding process. Tell me more about that.
Currently, the leaders of each department are rounding daily on the floors to talk to the patients, make sure that they're getting what they need, and if there's anything that's going on that we can assist with during the time that we're there talking to the patient or family members, then we try to address it right then. And if not, then we'll go to like the nurse's station and say, well, patient in room 100 is requesting this, can you go see what they need?
Right.
So it's been a very, very rewarding experience.
How do the patients react? How do they
Because when we go into the room, because we're not the nurse or you know someone that they're used to seeing, we let them know that we're leaders of the hospital and we're just coming in just to make sure that you're having a comfortable stay and that all your needs are being met, and if there's anything that we could do to assist, to please let us know. And they're very welcoming. But most of the comments that we've gotten is that everybody there's just been providing the service that they expected.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything we've left out that you want to make sure our viewers know?
I would like everyone to know that the staff and the physician and the nurses at Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center really want to make your experience remarkable, and they're doing the best that they can to make sure that you can get in and get out and get back home as quickly as possible.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Desiree. It's been a pleasure to have you, and I look forward to having you back after you've been here a while and see how it's going.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me.
You're quite welcome. Our next guest is Physician Assistant Brian Monroe of Novant Health, Oceanside Family Medicine and Convenient Care in Charlotte. Welcome to the show today, Brian.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you here and in our area. I know you're new to the area. So let's introduce you to our viewers and tell us a little bit about your education.
Okay. Thank you, June. I appreciate the welcome to the area. We're definitely loving it so far. As far as education, I predominantly was educated at East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina. So go Pirates.
Go Pirates.
Exactly. And it definitely plays into the purple theme of Novant too. So a lot of my wardrobe did not have to change. But I got 3 degrees from East Carolina University. The first was in construction management, which has everything to do with healthcare, except not really. And then I went on to pursue a medical degree and ultimately picked up a bachelor's degree in biology on my way to my master's degree in physician assistant studies.
Oh my goodness, I didn't expect all that, Brian. That's exciting.
It was quite an educational background, June.
Well, I'm almost afraid to ask about your work experiences, but here goes. Tell me about your work experiences.
Okay, so before coming to Brunswick County, I worked in New Bern, North Carolina, where I was seeing patients in an acute care setting in internal medicine. And prior to PA school, I was actually an autopsy assistant.
Wow. Tell me about that.
So autopsy assistant, not as crazy as people might foresee it or might believe it to be. We're not nearly as gory as what you might see on TV, but it was a great experience for learning, and you certainly cannot beat it for hands-on gross anatomy. Pun intended, I suppose.
I was going to say gross. Oh my goodness. Well, what led you to come to Brunswick County? I'm curious. How did you get here and why?
Understood. My family and I used to frequent Brunswick County and New Hanover County quite a bit as I was growing up, all the way as far back as I can remember. And so it was always a love of mine to be down in this area. I became very, very lucky in this scenario during education because I actually trained under Dr. Chris Eisenhower at Oceanside Family Medicine.
Wow.
And so a relationship was somewhat born out of that, but when they called me and said they had the position or an opening available, I pounced on it. It's kind of an alignment of the stars, if you will, to be down here practicing.
Now, you grew up in Charlotte, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I grew up in the northeastern part of town, kind of close to UNC Charlotte, Concord Mills, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh, and so do you like race cars?
I do like racing. A lot of people find that weird. In fact, my wife found that weird, that I liked NASCAR, but also was a physician assistant, so I love it, though.
Yeah, there are a lot of NASCAR fans in this area.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So are you and your wife enjoying the area so far?
We are enjoying the area very much so. We moved down and we're currently living in the Shallotte area, but we're enjoying the beach. We're enjoying the warm weather. Obviously, it's nice and warm now, and looking forward to getting to meet the people of Brunswick County.
Yeah. Do you like water sports?
We do. I like it maybe a little bit more than my wife does, but that's okay. I'm an avid kayaker, and I do enjoy surf and pier fishing.
Kayaking's great here. There are so many estuaries and you know, little places you can get up into with a kayak. So
Absolutely.
It's really, really nice here. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about Novant Health, Oceanside Family Medicine and Convenient Care. So that's in Shallotte, and I know that that's where you're currently based.
Correct.
And I know that's a really, really big group. So tell me a little bit about your partners there at Oceanside.
Okay. It is a big group. We've grown quite a bit in the past year, even so. And in the urgent care, the convenient care setting that I work in, there are 4 individuals in addition to myself, several physician assistants and a nurse practitioner that work there. And those include Olga Samplowski, who's a PA, and Bonnie Hood, who is a PA, Mandy Galuppi is a PA, and John Fillmore is a PA. And in addition to that team, we have a wide variety of individuals in the family medicine setting also.
Yeah. I'm curious, how does the convenient care work? Now, is that like walk-ins, or can you take appointments? How does that work?
That's a great question, and we actually get that a lot in the clinic. It is a walk-in clinic, and most often it's first come, first serve. However, if someone has a more emergent condition that needs to be evaluated in a quicker pace, then we certainly let those individuals bypass. It is necessary to treat whatever comes in the door, but yeah, walk-in.
And then there's also a full complement of physicians on staff there. Is that correct?
Correct, yes. So if anyone wanted to develop a primary care provider relationship with an individual there, they would be able to do so. That's not typically done through the convenient care, but it is something that we could help them identify and help them progress to that relationship with a primary care provider.
But at least you would have the ability to interact with physicians if you needed a second opinion.
Certainly.
Is that helpful to you there?
It's very helpful because a lot of times in the walk-in clinic we don't necessarily have that background relationship with a patient that a primary care provider might have that's also working in the clinic. So a lot of times we can bounce our ideas off of those primary care providers that have seen the patient for years on end.
Right, yeah. Well, what are your hours there at the clinic?
At the convenient care clinic, we're open from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then on Saturday, we're open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Now, let's talk about services that you provide there. Tell me about what kind of services those might be in the convenient care.
Okay, that's a good question as well. And with the services in convenient care that we typically provide, it would range anything from an upper respiratory infection to a bumper scrape on the elbow, to a fall, to anyone that might need laceration repair or a cut on their arm that needs to be fixed, to people that have abscesses that might need to be drained, or if you are casting rod and reel on the pier and you got a fish hook, you can get that removed too. So.
Yeah, and cuts in your feet from the shells and things like that, that would be a...
Absolutely, and there are a ton of
really
oysters around here to do that on.
Yeah, there are. I know a lot of times people will think they need to go to the emergency room at the local hospital, but really things like that can be taken care of at convenient care.
We can, absolutely. A lot of times we help alleviate some of the stress that goes to the emergency department, and the fact that patients would have a shorter wait time at the urgent care or the convenient care facility than they might at the emergency department.
Yeah,
in addition to that, the fees are often less at convenient care than they would be at an emergency
Yes, I'm
department.
sure. Yeah.
Now, I will say this, though. We do have patients that come to the convenient care and they actually need the emergency department workup.
I'm sure.
We're quick to get them there if that's needed.
I'm sure that happens too, yeah. Do you see patients of all ages, or is there a restriction for children?
No restriction for children whatsoever, from infancy until adulthood and beyond. No matter what age you are, if you have a condition and you need to be seen or you'd like to be seen, come in.
Well, I guess we sort of talked about what conditions are best treated at convenient care, but when in doubt, maybe they could give you a call or...
Certainly. So to get in contact with the clinic, the phone number is 910-754-4441. They can also find us online, and that's at www.novanthealth.org. In addition to that, our address is on Sellers Road. I believe it's 5145 Sellers Street, so it's midway between Food Line and the filling station for those that are familiar with the area.
Great directions, Brian. Well, before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to share with our viewers?
Just that we're enjoying the area so far. We're looking forward to meeting everyone here, and it's been wonderful and a pleasant experience thus far, so we're definitely thankful for that.
Well, great. Thanks so much for being our guest today. It's been a great interview. I've learned so much, and I look forward to having you back again.
Thank you so much, Gina. We appreciate it.
Now we'll welcome Bradley Alsop, a physician assistant with Novant Health Oceanside Family Medicine in Leland. Welcome to the show today, Bradley. It's so nice to see you.
It's very nice to meet you, Thea.
Thank you. So let's start by learning a little bit about you and some of your experiences.
Sure, yeah, so my name is Bradley. I'm 27 years old. I actually grew up in Raleigh, North Carolina. All my family is from Chicago, so people think I have a very weird dialect because I have that southern part and then I have like a Midwestern kind of talk as well. So I did grow up in Raleigh, and I went to NC State for my undergrad. Try not to hold it against me if you're a Carolina fan.
Sorry.
I did. I grew up going to Chapel Hill and going to all the games. My dad was a huge fan, so he was very conflicted when I decided to go to NC State for biology, and I did do that. After graduating, I worked at an outpatient orthopedic clinic for a few years, just getting to see some patients with a doctor and working as a medical assistant. That was a really good experience. And I quickly decided I wanted to get back into medicine, so I decided to do PA school, and I attended Campbell, which is in Bowie's Creek, a small little town, and it was a perfect setup for me. It was very family-oriented, and I got to learn a lot about science and medicine and patients and people in general.
That's a really good school.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
was
great
awesome.
school.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Well, I'm curious, what led you to come to this area?
Absolutely. So when I was at Campbell, they actually had opportunities to do clinical rotations kind of all around North Carolina. I was attending a church at the time in Durham called The Summit, and there was just kind of a cool thing that they were planning a church in Wilmington too, and the timing was just right that I could be a part of that, and I could come and do clinical rotations. And I love being by the beach. I love the salt air. It was a really easy sell for me. Wilmington is so different from Raleigh in that it's a smaller town, but the community is just awesome, and there's all different kinds of people. So being kind of by the coast was definitely a good decision to make for me.
So it sounds like you're really enjoying the area.
Oh, I love it, yes.
Do you love the water?
I do. I love so much. We actually live with, one of my friends has a chocolate lab. We get to take her to the beach.
Oh.
And, we just spend a lot of time at the water, paddle boarding, and just being active, and it's
great,
been a lot of fun.
Well, I know you've joined a wonderful group at Novant Health Oceanside Family Medicine in Leland. And we just met Brian Monroe, who's with Oceanside Family Medicine in Charlotte. So tell me a little bit more about your partners there in Leland. Sorry.
Absolutely, yeah. So I do work in Leland. Dr. Justin Asbury and Dr. Tori Asbury are both there. They're husband and wife. They've been doing it for some time, and they are awesome. Their patients love them. And as soon as I got into the practice, I could tell how much, how well respected they are by their patients and the community. Everyone in Leland is familiar with them. They're incredible teachers, and they're just very patient-centered and providing the best kind of care and making sure they're doing what's right for the patients.
Yeah, that's great. We've had them on the show before.
Yeah, they said that.
And I hear about them all over the community. People do love them.
They do.
So tell us where the clinic is actually located.
Yeah, so it's in the Waterford Shopping Center, kind of where, if you know, Eddie Romanelli's is right across the street from Walmart, and it's in a big building called Waterford Medical Park, right next to the Harris Teeter and all that. So it's kind of right off 17.
Yeah, it's a good place.
It is. It's close to Brunswick Forest. It's close kind of to this place in Wilmington. It's just in a good location.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about services. What kind of services do you offer there at the practice?
Yeah, so we see everybody. We see babies that were just born all the way up to 100 years old. Yeah, some of them are there. And we do everything. We do well child checks, immunizations, shots, biopsies, anything you can think of.
Yeah. So you do see patients of all ages. Like how early would you see a newborn, say? What?
A few days if we need to.
Really?
They start well child checks soon.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had, as I said, we had the Asburys on a show, and they talked about how they love the family practice, treating the whole family. Is that an aspiration of yours as well?
Absolutely. One of the reasons I was really interested in family medicine, I did get the opportunity doing rotations in different specialties, and I felt like family medicine was the one area that you could really develop a relationship with the patients. And I've even seen, since starting with the Asburys, that you get to meet the whole family and you get to kind of grow up with them and really take care of the whole unit. And it's a really cool experience. So definitely, and I like that kind of where we are in Leland too, we're part of the community, and there's a lot more of a community feel. The Asburys do a really good job of getting involved with community activities. We're actually participating in a Kids Day event in Leland this Saturday. So it's just awesome to get to see patients in the community, in the office as well. And getting to know families.
They've done several things in the past, several color runs, things like that. They're really into working with the schools and childhood obesity.
Yes.
Since we all know that's a huge thing here in this area.
Absolutely.
So they're, when we ask, they're always right there to help. They love doing those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I think that the clinic, I believe, is offering extended hours. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we're looking to go, we want to be open 7 to 7. So starting this summer, we should have extended hours till 7 p.m.
7 to 7, that's...
Yeah, to try to extend some coverage. People sometimes are working, it's hard to get in during the day.
Sure.
So we'll be up a little bit
So
later.
5 days a week, 7 to 7.
It should be, yes ma'am. Eventually, I think we're going to start out doing Monday and Wednesday, 7 to 7. And
I see.
The rest of the days should be 8 to 5.
Well, before we wrap up, would you like to tell our viewers how they might get in touch with you and make an appointment at Novant Health Oceanside Family Medicine in Leland?
Yes, ma'am. So they can call the phone number. The number is 910-408-1130. You can also go onto the website on novanthealth.com or .org. And just look up the Leland office, and you can make appointments right through there as well.
That's great.
Yeah, and just ask for Miss Lena. She'll make you an appointment.
Yeah, the staff there is great.
Yes,
they're so nice to work with.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thanks so much. It's been
and
awesome
I think
to be here.
you'll really love it here, and patients are going to love you. So.
Oh, I hope so. I love them already.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thanks.
Our final guest today are from Novant Health OBGYN. Let's welcome Dr. Richard Thompson and Clinic Administrator Becky Whiteside. Welcome to the show today, Becky. Dr. Thompson, what a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Well, I know that both of you have been on our show before, and some of our viewers, though, may not have seen you. So let's start with Dr. Thompson and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do at Novant Health.
My name is Richard Thompson. I am one of the practicing providers at Novant Health OBGYN. Currently going to 3 office locations, and we're getting ready to open a 4th in Southport very soon.
I know you've been on the show before. I think right when you started, that was what, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, almost 2 years ago.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah, it does.
How about you, Becky? Tell us what you do at Novant Health OBGYN.
I'm Becky Whiteside. I'm the clinic administrator at Novant Health OBGYN. So I oversee the current 3 practices, and we'll be opening a 4th. I work directly with the physicians and then the managers over at the hospital for the women's service line.
That's awesome. That's a great practice. Now, I know that you're anxious to talk about your newest location in Southport. So, Becky, can you tell us exactly where that location is?
We will be at 1456 House Street in Suite 201. We will be sharing the space with Oceanside Family Medicine in Southport.
Well, I know there are several other Novant Health offices in the same location. Can you share those with me?
Yes, currently in the same location on House Street. Of course, we have Oceanside Family Medicine, Southport.
That's Dr.
Moore and Johnson.
And Dr.
Johnson. Yes. I know they're adding another provider in the summer.
Yeah.
However, surgical also goes there along with urology.
So Brunswick Surgical Associates?
Yes.
And Brunswick Urological Associates?
Yes.
So, that's like a full service. You've got family practice or internal medicine, you've got OBGYN, you have urology?
Yes.
Wow. So let's talk about your other locations. I know that the OBGYN practice is throughout the county, so let's talk about those.
We have a location in Leland. We have a location in Bolivia, close to the hospital, right off 17. And we also have the new location, Calabash, which is a new building.
That just opened, didn't it?
Into
just
February.
recently opened, yeah. Where in Leland is the practice located?
That's located in a medical office building there at the front of Waterford.
Okay. Now, Dr. Thompson, do I understand correctly that you will be the primary physician?
Yes, to start, and we're going to hopefully be adding more physicians there as time goes on.
In the Southport office?
Correct.
On House Street. Okay. Well, what made your group decide to expand their services and provide those in Southport?
We just felt like it would be a good idea to take services to our patients. We have patients that come from Southport,
right,
to provide OBGYN services there, more convenient care for them, also with the hopes of attracting new patients as well.
I think some people think of Southport and some of these areas as retirement communities, but there are babies coming from these areas too.
Yeah, most certainly.
Yeah. So you will provide both OB and GYN in Southport?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Becky, tell me a little bit more about the hours of operation and how to make appointments and things like that.
Okay, perfect. We will be opening starting on Fridays, and we will be seeing patients from 8 o'clock till 2. We'll work through lunch at that location. And of course, you can call our main number is 910-721-4050, and we can get you set up for an appointment.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Dr. Thompson. Becky, it was a pleasure to have you, and we look forward to visiting your new office in Southport.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to ATMC TV's HealthWatch. I hope this information was beneficial for you and your family. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to see discussed on a future show, please email them to atmctv@atmc.com. Visit novanthealth.org for more information on Novant Health Brunswick Medical Center, local physicians, and general health information. Thanks again for joining us today. Be sure to join us next time for HealthWatch on ATMC TV.
We are ATMC TV, Channel 3 and HD Channel 910, your community channel.